Yensaka lawyer Kwame Adofo, your constitutional lawyer, Ewa Homaso. Na yenene ending komo. Lawyer Matiana pay.
Anyhow.
Lawyer, are we in a constitutional crisis as we speak?
I'm show. Constitutional crisis means there's crisis. Now, you must say, is there a crisis or not? The crisis now, Parliament is now in disarray, so to speak. In a sense, about Parliament. It is a about Parliament, and also an separate arm of government. And you understand, then there is a crisis there. Because if there's no crisis, Parliament should be able to go and sit and work. And my answer is yes.
What do you make of a speaker, the position on this matter? Say, as a lawyer, what do you mean?
Hello.
Lawyer, what do you mean?
Hello.
Yeah, metal. What do you mean?
Yes.
Correct. What do you make of a speaker's position on this particular matter? Him being a lawyer.
Hello.
Lawyer, what do you mean?
Was it make your question to a certain point? But
yes, I'm asking what you make of a speaker and the position on this particular matter. As Onua lawyer ni na and these things are happening. Who is saying?
Look, who say speaker is in a difficult position. In a sense, say Onua in mind, she say, so but the heat coming from his party says he should do B. So he's in himself, he's in difficult position. Now, your money is difficult, man. Say one or no speaker. What you say when you disagree with orders of the court, and so come back to the court to challenge those orders. And I'm saying to you, yes, I would do that.
Yes.
It would do that. It means that he has to follow the consequential orders, free hold, the action not by. Now the difficulty is NDC has taken a position there. They don't listen to anybody apart from the speaker. And for as long as the speaker has already spoken, I would declare almost a majority in India. They are still majority.
Well, the speaker didn't declare anybody majority. He just declared some seat vacant. And by the seats, now the numbers, no NDC numbers, not also say MPP for the. So therefore, automatically they become majority.
That was the previous position before he went to court.
Yes.
Before speaker went to court.
Yes.
They say speaker court. I'm a court say. Now you are suspending the orders, and if you are suspending speaker's orders, it means in effect the numbers no longer hold. So NDC has the numbers.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, who has to communicate that position to the members of parliament?
Exactly.
Obviously, a speaker. And because they're uncommunicated, NDC are taking position, you say, until the speaker be communicating. Otherwise, those seats remain vacant. And therefore, they are now the majority. I think essentially that's where the case is.
Yes.
And it means that for sanity to prevail and business to be done in Parliament, Speaker also make a statement say, I made a certain decision. Supreme Court has held or stayed my decision. So it means that the situation as existed before my decision still holds.
Lawyer, Speaker by a press conference the day before Onua. And in his press conference and a statement, he stated that he didn't take a position or he did not rule. He just gave them information. Say, Anna, Onua say no, Nimba when she supporting say, and we declare say, according to Ono, which I find it difficult to believe anyway.
And until America say, and that is what is creating the problems we have now. As a speaker, I say, we see the two Anamombi. The Supreme Court has stayed that Anamom. It means that the status quo that existed before us and take it Anamom is now the one that holds. That will resolve all these problems.
But before the speaker can reverse or say or tell them what has happened in the Supreme Court, MPs must be seated or must be in Parliament. They must have a quorum to be able to have that kind of conversation. According to the last Parliament, or can say Parliament or indefinitely, Sinidai. Where the name is. But Mamimra into the domain of separation of powers at the moment. What do you make of all that is going on? Oh, here said the system nete Supreme Court aka Parliament say ha. What do you think is happening at the moment? Do you foresee chaos? And I say, are we back into the array of common sense and not the law?
Are we back into the area of Panty last one?
Common sense, I see. Oh, family.
Look, the difficulty now is that some people either they intentionally pretend not to understand or they just simply don't understand. There were different arms of government, 3 of them. Everybody agrees. Now, presidency, take a decision. That's a no money. You don't court. Court beat me and decide whether they are right or wrong. Example here, dominable case. Now, the same way, Parliament beat me and make a decision. You and I, as citizens, can take them to court. Say we don't agree with it. We feel that it's wrong. Court, basically, I can say we are correct and I say they're correct. Sometimes, I'm a passing man, we can court me striking it down. Example is billable offense. First, not certain offenses like murder. That will not bill. Now, it's a law passed by Parliament, but the court are striking it down. Say it's unconstitutional. It means that Parliament sitting here and your final that misconception say Parliament is a master of itself and to make mistakes. I don't know. They are wrong.
Well, Speaker, Equity Article 115. There shall be freedom of speech, debate, and proceedings in Parliament, and that freedom shall not be impeached or questioned in any court or placed out of Parliament.
Correct. I agree with it. But that doesn't mean that when they have concluded in passing a law, that law cannot be challenged. It's only when they are talking and participating in Parliament, nobody can stop them. But after pass a law, that law can be challenged in the court. And the court will see whether it's a constitutional and not a constitutional. Now, as a speaker, for some reason, because of that provision, that makes them say whatever they will say is final. That's completely wrong. What they do in Parliament, they are allowed to do anything. January 6th and the 9th of January is because in the Parliament, it's protected. But that speech and whatever they pass, it's amenable to the Constitution. It is a Supreme Court to share. They will strike it down. That is how the system works. It is the speaker. Either said my name is Washeda, and I said because clearly he knows. Because of that protection given to them in terms of freedom of speech and so on, that in itself is enough for all their decisions to be protected. That, in my view, is not the correct position of the law.
Article 116, 1, is subject to the provisions of this article, but without prejudice to the general effect of Article 115 of his Constitution. Civil or criminal proceedings shall not be instituted against a member of Parliament in any court or place out of Parliament for any matter or thing brought by him in or before Parliament. We won't say anything.
Well, it means that when you are in Parliament, all the things you say or do, you are protected from being sued. You'll be able to sue for things you do in Parliament, and now things you say in Parliament. You are protected. Nobody can sue you.
And when no difference kakra wo mu ana say the omukoye wa Parliament and the declaration of 4 seats vacant no. It's something that happened in Parliament. Does it mean say because of this article they can't be sued?
But you see, there is Article 99. Article 99 makes it clear. So a high court and a bit may declare a seat vacant. So if the high court hasn't done that, that's the speaker could to have done it and that's what declare a seat vacant. That in my view is not law. What the court, that decision has to be, you should be able to challenge it. Because constitution now the high court may declare. And the woman say, yeah, you have the freedom of speech. Yes, you have the right to make any decisions. Yes. But we are only a co-officer or are affected by your decision can challenge it before the court. And per Article 99, in my view, Speaker is acting as if they're on the High Court, which he is not.
Do you think he's weakening the powers of the Supreme Court? And I say, or to Supreme Court, ne jumedia constitution in the amano or to nasi. Lawyer Ultimenka.
It's a line we be trusting. Sorry.
Na me be say by his actions no un say or to Supreme Court ejuma siana.
Look, because he said he hasn't openly said he's not going to follow it. A many trick actions and inactions. But this one he hasn't really done anything Supreme Court yet. The only say obesity clearly said when orders from the Supreme Court say was the ruling. I don't know. And it will resolve this problem. And I have a feeling that he will have to do it because it's our situation there, our bills to pass, all these bills, including Onua end of service benefits. And are they going to go like this without getting their money before they go? Onua has to be passed. So I have a feeling that eventually, they will call the leadership and sit down and resolve this.
Well, Speaker press conference the day before Enrano, he made it clear, say, judiciary and Nanado Dankwa Kufuado a week in Parliament.
Well, I have a different view in the sense that the moment was to call Supreme Court challenges some vacated position means they will acknowledge that Supreme Court has a role to play in interpreting the law. Now, also, he should know this. They call law school. The court is there to as a check and balance to check the executive and to check the legislature. If you Parliament, I don't see how Parliament can be weakened. Say, rulings and as a judgment and laws, ends up being challenged. Into 1% where you pass the law, but not effective 1% have a challenge. That will not be rule of law and a democracy. I am of the view say either so I said and also what say Parliament Sidinaya and your final tongue the Parliament Sidinaya and your final. It is subject to the Constitution. What and whoever who has to check say the law is in line with the Constitution, it's the court.
Lawyer JBC Obeso Bisa question back.
Counsel.
I'm sorry.
Counsel, but what to make her?
I'm talking. We're here, but
so okay. So there has been instances where, and I see him say Supreme Court of Kwana Emma ruling and now.
Hello.
Counsel, but what to make her?
Aha.
Good. Him say Supreme Court of Kwana Emma ruling and now. Na ochina obana so say ruling no or ye mistake or bet me as answer reverses that ruling no I'm a ruling for.
Correct.
No, so in an instance like this, I na ye nim say Article 115, Article 116 exists na provided some level of immunity be at the Parliament in their performance of their duty. No, is it not also the Supreme Court say omobe interpreti emrano amana so clear na Parliament sort me na juma like we are experiencing the case of checks and balances and what have you.
Chanuna almost on the 11th. On the 11th, on the and we are sure somebody clarify all this misunderstanding in our mind.
Right. Mama, if I was in Amenawasi, say maybe I about Pruma. Oba, now we think about that.
Onua 95.1 FM. 95.1 FM. Yeah,